Huh? La Crista!
All right, so I was never a huge fan of Lilo and Stitch, only because like when Lilo and Stitch came out, I was already like in my teenage years, and I was like kind of like I was like a little over Disney movies. Like at the time, I think I was like really into like Dragon Ball Z and like anime and like shonen anime. So like to me, I was kind of like Disney to me was like kid stuff. Like oh, I'm not into this anymore. Disney announces a ton of upcoming projects at D23. All right, so D23 is like Disney's big showcase event where they like reveal upcoming titles and movies and TV shows and a bunch of other projects that they're working on and about to release. They actually go into a lot of detail about their like amusement parks and stuff, but we're only going to be covering the movies and TV shows that they revealed here, and they revealed a lot. Like most of these movies and shows are just sequels and spin-offs. Like no original ideas here, and 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 that's a shame. Like I feel like we have gone way too far with the sequels, but let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right, so this is the D23 picture. All right, so this is one of the first things they announced, Moana 2. Like I'll admit, I don't think I ever finished the first Moana. And like what I saw of it, it was a pretty good film, but it something didn't captivate me about it, so I never finished it. I don't Moana. I don't really have a problem with. I just feel like I've seen this movie before. Like there's like a formula Disney follows, and like after like 20 years of watching Disney movies, like it just gets a little tiring. Like the main character has to have the goofy sidekick. Like Maui is no different to me than like the genie or any other Disney goofy sidekick. So it's just like another play on that. Also I feel like I don't know. I feel like if I'm in the mood for a Disney movie, I'll watch classic Disney like Lion King, Little Mermaid, movies like that. All right, so obviously The Rock came out to promote Moana 2. And I believe he's also working on a Moana live action remake, which I don't think anybody asked for. By the way, I feel like I should point out, I'm not going to be reacting to any trailers, only because I feel like Disney has been getting very hands-on with their copyright striking. So I don't even want to risk it. All right, so this was another movie they announced. I mean, they announced this a while ago, the Snow White live action remake. Um, who wants this? Like, I feel like there hasn't been a single Disney live action remake that I thought was better than the original. I think the only live action remake I actually really liked was The Jungle Book, and and that was like one of the first live action remakes they did. I also kind of liked Aladdin, only because you can't really mess up Aladdin. Like I wasn't a big fan of the Lion King remake, and that was like even me being such a big Childish Gambino fan, I like wasn't impressed with Donald Glover's performance in that movie. Like I don't know, he sounded very wooden. But why am I talking about Lion King? Snow White. So yeah, this looks like this movie's coming out March 21st. I know a lot of people are not happy with the direction they went with this movie. All right, so that's Rachel Zegler, which is the actress playing Snow White. And my problem with her is just that she like was talking bad about the original source material. Like she was like making fun of like the fact that the prince who like saves her life in the original movie is a stalker. Like, like all this like I don't know, modern talk. Like this is a fairy tale. Like calm down. All right, and we have Gal Gadot playing the queen, and this doesn't make any sense to me because like the isn't the is it the queen or the witch? I don't remember what she was, but like isn't she supposed to like the whole reason she hates Snow White is because Snow White is prettier than her, but Gal Gadot is a beautiful woman. So like I'm pretty sure if you get 10 guys and ask them who's prettier, Rachel or Gal Gadot, like some of them are gonna say Rachel and some of them are gonna say Gal. So like to me, the Snow White should have been. It shouldn't even be a question. Like I don't know why they casted such a beautiful person to play the queen. It makes no sense to me. All right, and this right here, these are the original seven dwarfs. They were gonna have to play the seven dwarfs in the film, and the reason all of these dwarves aren't actually dwarves is because Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones said that it was like demeaning or something for dwarves to be cast in in this movie. So Disney went ahead and just was like, okay, well then we just won't cast dwarves. So yeah, thanks a lot, Peter Dinklage, for freaking playing the most famous dwarf ever on Game of Thrones and then going, oh, it's demeaning for dwarves to play dwarves. Like I don't get it. All right, and then after Disney got a lot of flack for for those characters that are supposed to be the dwarves, they went ahead and this is why the movie was delayed, so they could CGI the dwarves to be more accurate to the movie. I will say I do like these dwarves better than whatever this is, but yeah. I'll also give her a compliment. I think Rachel looks very pretty in this picture. And I do like her outfit. Let's go ahead and see what the chat is saying real quick. All right, SG. I miss going to D23, which was the 3-day convention from August 9 and ended on August 11. I'm a big fan of Gal Gadot. In the film, similar to the Brothers Grimm story it is based on, the evil queen is cold, sadistic, cruel, and extremely vain, owning a magic mirror. Yeah, like I don't like I. You know what? Now that you said that, I think the queen was pretty in the movie, but Snow White was like prettier and younger, and that's why the queen was so mad. Like, wasn't like the thing she said was like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, or something, and like the mirror kept staying Snow White, so that's why she was mad. But yeah, thanks for that, SG. Let's go ahead and continue on with the announcements.
Huh? La Crista!
All right, so I was never a huge fan of Lilo and Stitch, only because like when Lilo and Stitch came out, I was already like in my teenage years, and I was like I was like a little over Disney movies. Like at the time, I think I was like really into like Dragon Ball Z and like anime and like, you know, shonen anime. So like to me, I was kind of like Disney to me was like kid stuff. Like, oh, I'm not into this anymore. So Lilo and Stitch, like there's an era of Disney movies that I just never got into. And that was when like Disney was releasing Lilo and Stitch, The Emperor's New Groove, Treasure Planet. There was like that whatever era of Disney that was. Like it was like after the Renaissance era, but like that wasn't the Disney I was familiar with. So to me, I may not to this day I might not have even finished Lilo and Stitch, but I know the generation after me love Stitch. So like I know people are gonna freak out for a live action Lilo and Stitch. All right, so another sequel. Pixar announces The Incredibles 3. All right, so I'm not going to lie. I also was not a big fan of the original Incredibles, which is like, I don't know, a sin to say because apparently that's considered like top 5 Pixar movies. But once again, like that came out at a time where I was kind of like over the kiddie stuff. Like I've definitely come back around. And there are definitely like Pixar movies that I like love to death. I think my favorite Pixar movie is Toy Story 2. But The Incredibles was one that I never got into, which is weird because I'm such a big superhero fan. So you would think that this would be the Pixar movie for me, but I don't know. Like I heard Incredibles 2 wasn't as good as the first one, and like I really don't care about another Incredibles movie, but I'm sure there are diehard fans that are into this. All right, so here's one of the big ones. They announced Toy Story 5. All right, I don't even know what to say. Like I'm a huge fan of the original Toy Story trilogy. Like I think the way Toy Story 3 ended was perfect. It was like the perfect ending to that story, like with Andy giving his toys to the little girl, and like, you know, it was like a message of like, you know, everyone grows up and like everyone has to like, be a grown up, and like he was passing off his toys to another girl to like get to enjoy them. And then Toy Story 4 just ruined that. Like I was not a big fan of Toy Story 4. Like apparently the girl didn't like Woody, even though in Toy Story 3 she like loved the Woody doll. That's why Andy gave it to her. um but yeah, Toy Story 4 I thought like kind of ruined the character. But here's what I don't understand, and maybe I'm misremembering, but didn't Woody at the end of Toy Story 4, didn't he like leave all the toys to go out on his own? So why is he back with the toys in this movie? Like this is another thing I don't like that Pixar does. It's like they reverse the prior film's decision. So like Toy Story 3 ended with Andy giving his toys away to the girl, and then Toy Story 4 ends with Woody leaving the toys and leaving the girl to like go out on his own. And then this movie reverses that movie, and then Woody's back with the toys. I don't get it. All right, so Toy Story, oh my god, Toy Story 5 is coming out in 2026. Oh, Disney, why are you promoting this film now?
Yeah, Toy Story is what put Pixar on the map.
All right, next up, they announced Frozen 3. And you guys are going to be like, why are you even covering this? You don't like any Disney movie. Once again, I don't think I've seen the first Frozen. Frozen came out, like I was already like in my 30s. So like, I mean, I'm still in my 30s, but when Frozen came out, I was like, I don't know, not really checking for Frozen, like not really checking for Disney movies. So like I completely missed the whole Frozen train. I've heard the song, what's the big song from Frozen? Like is it Let It Go? I don't know. I remember that song being everywhere, but yeah, this means nothing to me. And this is some concept art. All right, Zootopia 2. So I actually am a big fan of the first Zootopia. I've only seen it, I think, once or twice, but I remember really liking that movie. And I think, didn't they make a TV show out of it or something? Maybe I'm misremembering. But yeah, I would watch a Zootopia 2 as long as Disney doesn't, try to reverse everything they did in the first movie. Or like try to add their like politics into it. I hate when they do that. Like that Lightyear movie is a perfect example of like Disney like going too far with their messaging. All right, let's go ahead and see what the chat is saying. SG, I'm a big fan of Lilo and Stitch, and my favorite songs from the movie is Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride and No Melee, No Lilo. SG, I'm not even familiar with those songs. Like when I could have swore like Lilo and Stitch had a lot of Elvis in the soundtrack, but maybe I'm misremembering. I'm a big fan of The Incredibles. I watched the movie Incredibles 2 with my mom, and she really enjoyed the movie. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to hate on The Incredibles. Like, I'm sure the movie is really good. I just know that when the movie came out, I was at that age where I was just like kind of like I felt like I was too grown up for Disney movies, even though I was probably like 14 or 15. My favorite song from Toy Story 1 is You've Got a Friend in Me. That's a classic right there. And like, I don't think people understand the hype that Toy Story 1 was when it came out. Like, I saw that in theaters as a kid, and I remember that movie just blowing my mind. I love Woody and Buzz. Frozen 1 is the best. I'm a big fan of the song Let It Go from Frozen. Yeah, that was the song, Let It Go. I watched Zootopia 1 with some of my best friends in the movie theater, and we had a blast. Yeah, like, Zootopia 1, like I said, I didn't see that one in theaters. I think I saw it when like it came out on Netflix, but I really enjoyed it. And I haven't seen it in like, oh man, when did Zootopia 1 first come out? Like I haven't seen it since it released. But yeah, I remember really, really enjoying Zootopia 1.
Thank you, Nicholas P. Wild, a.k.a. Jason Bateman. Hello, D23!
All right, so this one, I'm not even sure what to say here. So I used to be a huge Star Wars fan, and I still am. Like, I still love the 6 original films to death. And I grew up with Star Wars. Like, I got introduced to Star Wars back in 1998 with the original trilogy, and I have just been completely disappointed with what Disney has been doing lately with Star Wars. Like, I loved the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, but then season 3 was bad. the Obi-Wan show like broke my heart with how terrible it was, how like lore breaking the show was. Like it's like Disney doesn't care about canon anymore, which is weird because the whole point of Disney getting rid of the Legends continuity was that they wanted to start over fresh and like make everything canon. And all they've done since then is contradict everything. Like the Obi-Wan show, all it does is contradict the original trilogy over and over again. At some point I'm going to make a Star Wars video talking about my history of Star Wars, but like I just to let you guys know, I'm utterly disappointed with Disney Star Wars. The Ahsoka show, I was looking forward to that, and then that ended up being really bad, and that also ended up being lore breaking. I'm a huge fan of Andor. I'll say that. I didn't watch The Acolyte only because I'm kind of just over Disney at this point, like over Disney Star Wars. So like this show, Skeleton Crew, I don't care. Like I'm not excited for this at all. And it's not even because of anything I've seen of this show. It's just because Disney has done such a bad job with Star Wars that like I'm not invested anymore. Like the only thing I care about is Andor season 2, and then after that I'm probably going to check out completely. Okay, and for those of you who are interested in what this show is about, apparently it's like Stranger Things in the Star Wars universe. That's like the best, or for like us millennials, it's the Goonies in the Star Wars universe. Yeah, so the main characters of this show are a bunch of kids. All right, so moving right along, we're moving on to Agatha All Along. And like right now I feel like I've just been overly negative this whole showcase because I could not care less about this show either. Like this is another problem I have with Disney. It's like why are they giving all these like unpopular no-name characters their own shows? Like we live in a world where we still don't have a Fantastic Four film or an X-Men film, but they give Agatha, the random background character of the Wanda show, her own show. Like does anyone care about this show at all? Like what was that show called again? Wanda and Vision or something? Wanda, I don't remember what the show was called, but I remember really liking the show up until like the last episode where it just became like generic Marvel characters fighting each other, no consequences happening. But I remember really liking that show, and like I liked Agatha in the show as like I said, like a background side character, but giving her own show, we don't need this. Like Marvel really needs to just like if I had any say in Marvel Studios, I would tell them to just focus on the big three for now, which would be Spider-Man, X-Men, and Fantastic Four, and like give all their other characters a rest. Like after Endgame, what they should have done is just start over, start small, focus on a few movies a year, but instead they just went balls to the wall with all these like mid releases. All right, and speaking of Fantastic Four, Marvel also announced the Fantastic Four First Steps. I will admit this one I'm interested in seeing. I'm hoping they don't mess it up. Like even just the music on this like piece of the trailer, I really like. Like it looks like they're going for a more stylized. I don't know. Like I think I read that it's supposed to be like the future, like kind of like the 40s version of what they think the future would be, like the Jetsons or something. Which I'm excited for if they actually pull it through, but I'm not gonna hold my breath because, like I said, my expectations for Disney are basically on the ground at this point. So like I'm not letting myself get excited for any of these projects, except for maybe Andor season 2. But like I'll say, this looks so much better than Agatha All Along. Oh my god, 2025. Oh, I guess that's only next year. All right, let's see what the chat is saying real quick. SG Sports Talk. top five Disney movies. Are you talking about Zootopia, SG? I love Fantastic Four. Yeah, I used to read Ultimate Fantastic Four, which was like I was really into the Ultimate Universe back in the day when it was like, coming out, like Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, and Ultimate Fantastic Four. And that's the reason why I think that Marvel should just stick to those three and, like, I don't know, start over. I really think Marvel just needs to reboot their whole MCU, which is probably what's going to happen with Secret Wars. But I love how people like to dress up as Woody and get in the character. Are we talking about Toy Story? Yeah, like, that's pretty crazy. But next up we have Daredevil Born Again. And I was a big fan of the Daredevil Netflix shows, but I did not watch She-Hulk, but I did see on YouTube some scenes of Daredevil from that show, and they completely just humiliated I can't even say that word. They embarrassed this character in this show. Like they gave him like a yellow suit. They had him doing the walk of shame. Like I don't know. I don't know if this show is supposed to be a sequel to the Netflix show or if it's a sequel to the She-Hulk show. All right. So as you can see, they brought back the actors who played Wilson Fisk and Daredevil. I can't remember these actors' name. Especially Fisk. I know he has like a really long name, but both these guys are perfect in their roles. All right, and it looks like, oh wow, they're bringing the whole crew back. It looks like the Punisher is back. It looks like Foggy is back. It looks like, I think her name was Karen, is back. Like, so that's really good. I could have swore I remember them saying that like Foggy and Karen weren't going to come back. So maybe this is a sequel to the Netflix show. All right. Avatar Fire and Ash, which is the third Avatar film, was announced. So I remember seeing the very first Avatar in theaters in 3D back when like 3D, back when the industry was really pushing 3D on us. And it was like the only film I've seen in 3D that impressed me. Every other film in 3D has never impressed me. Like it's always been like oh, there's maybe one scene where a character's head pops out of the screen, but that's it. Whereas the first Avatar, that movie was made from the ground up to be in 3D. So I remember that being a really good experience. Believe it or not, I haven't seen Avatar 2. To me, the trailers and everything just looked like more Avatar. Like it didn't really look like anything groundbreaking, so I never bothered with it. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think I should watch Avatar 2? Was it a good movie? Avatar 3, I'm not really excited for, especially considering I haven't seen Avatar 2. So but I'm sure there are people out there that are very excited for this movie. Looks like we have some concept art. Looks like I know the second movie dealt with water. And like the Na'vi like living on islands or something. It looks like this one's gonna deal with fire, so it's pretty thematic. All right, so this is random, but Disney announced Freakier Friday, which is a sequel to Freaky Friday. Now I'm a huge fan of Freaky Friday. I'm not gonna lie, I love any type of body switch movies like Freaky Friday, 17 again. I know there was a few more. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but like I don't know. It's a genre of movie like I've always really liked, like an older character getting to be a teenager again. All right, so Disney also announced Tron Ares. I think that's how you pronounce that. So I'm assuming this is the third Tron movie, and I'll admit now, I've never been a big fan of Tron. Like the first Tron, I thought was the most boringest movie I've ever seen. I thought the sequel they made like 10 years ago, I don't remember, but like I thought that movie was super boring too. Like I don't know, I've just never been a Tron person.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like Nine Inch Nails is doing the music for this new Tron movie, and I may be wrong, but I think Daft Punk was the one that did the soundtrack for the last movie. Let me know if I'm wrong, if I'm misremembering SG. Speaking of SG, let's see what the chat is saying. SG, Vincent D. Onofrio plays Kingpin, also known as Wilson Fisk. Oh, thanks for that, SG. What's the actor who plays Daredevil? I forgot his name too. Yeah, I'm sure the soundtrack is gonna be killer. All right. Next up, we have Monster Jam, which is another Disney movie with The Rock. So that's like 3 movies he's working on. He's working on Moana 2. He's working on the Moana remake, the live action remake, and he's also working on this movie, Monster Jam, which is like it's a monster truck movie, which seems kind of interesting. I mean, I haven't seen the trailer or anything, but I mean, I feel like monster trucks to me, like it's never really any fun watching monster trucks on TV, but like going to like a live event with monster trucks is always going to be fun. I wonder if Disney is looking at AI as competition. Don't forget, like we got Monster Camp coming out. Monster Camp is that CGI movie that's like a ripoff of Monsters Inc. That some people are using Sora AI to make. It's a whole thing. I have a video on it.
Look, I'm a pickup truck man. That's all I drive. I drove my pickup truck here. It's all that. You guys know.
All right, next up, Pixar announced a movie called... No, this is a TV show, I believe. It's called Win or Lose. It's like the very first Pixar TV show. So, yeah. Like, am I going to watch this? Probably not. But, like, I hope it's good. Like, it's Pixar. So, all right. Another thing Pixar announced was Dream Productions, which is, believe it or not, a sequel. It's another TV show, but it's a sequel to Inside Out. But it takes place before Inside Out 2, so it's like Inside Out 1.5.
Called Dream Productions. Yeah. It's a series we've been working on for a little while, and it's set between Inside Out 1 and 2. So think of it as an in-between cool. It's a show set in the studio where Riley's dreams are made every night on time and on budget. And here is a special D23 look at Dream Productions.
All right, yeah, we skipped the trailer. I will say, I did enjoy the first Inside Out movie. I haven't seen the sequel. Like, I think it's still in theaters. But yeah, like Inside Out 1 came out, I want to say like almost exactly 10 years ago. Because I remember seeing that in college, and I was in college 10 years ago. So like 20, actually I wasn't in college 10 years ago. I graduated by then. So 2012 or 2013, the first Inside Out came out. I don't know. Fact check me, SG. So Pixar also announced a movie, Elio, but this is an original idea. So that's pretty cool. So I feel like this little cloud character, I feel like Disney has done this character a million times. Like I'm thinking of like that star from the movie Wish. Like this is like the same character, or like the power star from the Mario movie, like the one that was in the cage. Like it's like, come up with new designs, man. Like it's the most uncreative design. All right, and Pixar. Okay, so it looks like surprisingly, even though Pixar's making a lot of sequels, they're also making a lot of original ideas. So Hoppers is another Pixar movie that's going to be coming out.
We put this into this. Yes, yes. This into this. This into this. This into this.
that's set in theaters 2026. So once again, I don't know why Disney is promoting films 2 years, behind. So here we have Mufasa, the Lion King. So this is supposed to be a prequel to the live action remake of the Lion King. And who is asking for this movie? Like, I feel like this movie's gonna bomb. This movie's gonna bomb. Like the only reason people saw the first one was because it was a live action remake of their childhood. This movie means nothing to us. Like, we don't care about Mufasa like that. Like, I feel like I did see the trailer for this movie, and I feel like the CGI is actually worse in this movie than it was in the last movie. Like, I feel like they just rushed this one out. But yeah, like I have no interest in this. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the Lion King live action remake. Like, it was cool to see Donald Glover cast as Simba, but I feel like The Lion King is one of those movies that I watched a million times as a kid, and I know it. I know it line by line, and like just the way the lines were delivered in the remake, I don't know, it just really bothered me. Like, even getting a James Earl Jones back, the way he delivered lines in the remake, it was just so off. Like, there's just this one line in the original movie where where Mufasa tells Simba, like, you deliberately disobeyed me, and like the way he says it, he's like so angry, like, Simba, you deliberately disobeyed me. And like the way that he says that line in the remake is, he's like, Simba, you deliberately disobeyed me. Like, it was so robotic. Like, they should have recasted James Earl Jones. Like, he was just too old to play Mufasa. Like, I know that might be blasphemy, but like, he's too old to play Mufasa. He's too old to play Darth Vader. Like, I'm pretty sure Disney has been using AI to voice Darth Vader for the past like 3 or 4 projects. All right, so they're bringing out Lin-Manuel Miranda to, I guess he's writing the music for this new movie, and I'm a huge fan of Lin, especially Hamilton. I went to New York to watch Hamilton on Broadway, so I'm a huge Lin fan. But like, Lin has been, I don't know what's up with him, but he has not been making good music. Like, he's the one who wrote the Scuttlebutt song for the Little Mermaid live action movie, the Scuttlebutt song. And if you're not familiar with that song, go on YouTube, search Scuttlebutt Little Mermaid. Lin wrote that song.
Stop D23!
Okay, so welcome to your first D23. You're no stranger to a Disney musical, but can you tell us a little bit about the new songs you wrote for Mufasa, and what it's been like working with Barry?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to give another shout out to Levo M. That is the first voice you hear in the original Lion King, and that's the first voice you'll hear in Mufasa. When Barry sent me the screenplay to Mufasa, I was in the middle of writing Encanto. I had not figured out how the magical family was going to get out of this one.
That's actually crazy. Like, so they started working on Mufasa when Lin was working on Encanto. Encanto came out years ago. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but like, didn't Encanto like come out before the first Lion King? No, actually, I got the timeline wrong. I think the Lion King, the original, the live action remake, I think that came out in like 2018, 2017, 2018, and Encanto came out, I think, 2020 or 2021. So yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But I read the screenplay, and I just, you think you know Mufasa, you think you know Scar, but I had no idea, and I could see where the songs went, and it was just such a joy to be in service of one of our great directors, so I'm just thrilled to be here.
All right, I'm just gonna assume Lynn's just doing what he's paid to do, promote the movie. Like, you're not gonna try to convince me that the Mufasa has this amazing script that brought you to tears. You're not gonna convince me of that. And even if it does, like these lions show no emotion. They show no emotion. So it's like Simba watching his dad get killed. He showed no emotion. So like, yeah, even if the script brought you to tears, the movie isn't. All right, so Disney also announced Ironheart, which is a TV show based off the character that showed up in Wakanda Forever. And I think her name was Riri Williams. But yeah, like I felt like she shouldn't have been in Wakanda Forever. Like, she was so out of place. Like, she served no purpose. Like, the whole point of Wakanda is that they're already like technologically advanced. So having Riri Williams like be in the movie for, I don't even remember why she was in the movie. But yeah, her also getting her own show. Once again, what is Disney doing? Like Agatha, Ironheart, Miss Marvel, The Marvels, like nobody wants to see this. Like, and no offense to like the people that are like, oh, I want to see this, but like these shows aren't doing well. Like, viewer wise, these shows aren't doing well. So like, I don't know, like Disney's putting so much money into these shows and they're all flopping. Like eventually they're gonna have to stop doing it, right? And this is one of those shows that the show might be good. The show could be amazing. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to watch it because I like have no interest. Like, Disney has just diluted the MCU. Like, they put out so much crap that it doesn't even matter if this show is good or not. It's going to be forgotten. Like, nobody's going to watch it. They've crossed the point of no return.
Thanks, team. Thanks, everybody. So what's up? What's it like playing Riri?
I have been having the best time playing Riri, and I can't wait for you guys to see more of this series.
All right, let's see what the chat is saying real quick before we move along. SG, the cast is coming back for Avatar Fire and Ash. Shush has Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, Giovanni Ribisi, and Sam Worthington. I mean, that's good that they got the whole cast back. I will say I feel like Sam Worthington hasn't done anything since the original Avatar. Like, does he do any movies? His name is Charlie Cox. Oh, that's the Daredevil's actor. Thanks for that, SG. Dreams Production is a movie studio located inside Riley Anderson's mind in the 2015 Disney Pixar animated feature film Inside Out. It is where Riley's dreams are made. My friend's name is Andy, and he is a massive fan of the Lion King live-action remake, and he is definitely going to watch Mufasa in theater when it comes out. Yeah, I'm not trying to like. So here's the thing: the live-action Lion King remake. I'm not saying it was a bad movie or anything. I'm just saying, as someone who's watched the original movie a million times as a kid, it did not live up to the hype. But like, it's good to know that there's some people excited for the Mufasa movie, because like I said, when I saw the announcement, I was like, who is this movie for? Like, who wants to watch Mufasa? And it's not even grown up Mufasa. It's like little kid Mufasa. Anyways, Andor season 2 streaming 2025. So this is the one thing I'm excited for coming out of Disney. I love the original Andor. And I'll say that the show was so good that something tells me Kathleen Kennedy had nothing to do with that show. Like, something tells me it was accidentally greenlit. Like she probably wanted to cancel the show, but because the main lead is Latino, the guy who plays Andor is Latino, and something tells me that that's the only reason the show got greenlit. Like, had Andor been played by a white guy, the show would have been canceled. Like, there's no way this show would have been made. I'm still in disbelief that this show was made. Like, a Star Wars show with writers that actually care about Star Wars. Like, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that show came out. All right, so this is the actor who plays Andor, and like I said, he's Latino, so he does address the audience in Spanish, which is fun.
Buenas noches.
I'm also Latino, so like I you know, this is one of the few moments like there aren't a lot of like big Latino actors out there that people know. Like I feel like Andor's one of them now, but like I think another one is Poe Dameron from Star Wars. I forgot the actor's name. Oscar Isaac. Like he's another one that like representing us Latinos. So is Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse.
Sorry I started in Spanish, but first things first. Un placer estar aquí. Gracias a todos los que están aquí que hablan español, a todas y todos. Hello, D23. This is so cool. What a nice room. You have no idea how excited I am to be here again.
I'll say like he sounds like I mean obviously English is his second language, but he sounds like he doesn't speak English like very like too fluently. Like he like his accent's very thick, but in the show he sounds fine. So like that's always confusing to me whenever you see an actor like who can't speak English very well, but in the show they do fine. Like I think the Acolyte recently did that with the Squid Game actor. I forgot his name, but like he doesn't speak any English, and yet they cast him to speak English in the Acolyte. Make it make sense. And he did a good job. Like reading his English dialogue. I mean, like the show itself was terrible, but and like I'm just basing that off the few clips I've seen.
Really, the energy in this room.
All right, and they announced the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And like I said, I'm a big fan of the first two seasons of The Mandalorian, but the third season was just, I don't even want to say it was bad. It was, but it wasn't Obi-Wan bad. It wasn't Ahsoka bad. Like it was just like, I mean, I don't know. The Mandalorian season 3 may have the single worst episode of Star Wars ever, with the episode where Jack Black and Lizzo show up, and Jack Black and Lizzo are just playing themselves. But anyways, Mandalorian and Grogu. So this is supposed to be like a finale for the entire Dave Filoni verse. So this is gonna conclude Ahsoka, Mandalorian. What else? What else shows are in the Filoni verse? I'm drawing a blank other than like Rebels or Clone Wars, which is the cartoons. But like, yeah, apparently, what's the villain from Ahsoka? The blue guy. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? He's such a big villain. Thrawn. Yeah. So Grand Admiral Thrawn is gonna be the main villain in this movie. So I hope it's good. Like, you know, I don't want any of these movies to be bad. It's just I'm basing my reaction is based off what's come before. So like if you would have told me years ago that we were getting a Mandalorian movie, I would have been more excited. But now that we've had Mandalorian season 3 and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, like I can't get excited anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me. All right, and this is coming to theaters May 2026. Once again, this is so far off. I wouldn't even be surprised if this ends up getting canceled. It's so far off. All right, and looks like Disney also announced Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So this is like a second season for their Percy Jackson show. I don't know anything about Percy Jackson's. I never read the book. I never watched any of the movies or anything. So like this means absolutely nothing to me. But I'm sure there are some Percy Jackson fans out there that, you know, are excited about that show coming back. Next up, we have your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Spider-Man used to be my favorite. No, Spider-Man was my favorite superhero as a kid. I mean, I would say he still is. Like, I feel like my personality was molded by the 90s animated show. And I'm a huge fan of Spectacular Spider-Man, that TV show. It was canceled too soon. And I would say bring it back, but don't mess with perfection. Like if Disney was to bring it back, they would just ruin it. I know they would. But this is another cartoon Spider-Man show. And yeah, this was supposed to come out a few years ago. So I'm not sure if Tom Holland is playing Spider-Man in this cartoon or if this is supposed to be Tom Holland Spider-Man. The way it was pitched before was this was supposed to be a prequel to the Tom Holland Spider-Man, and it was supposed to show how Tom Holland got his powers. But now I think they canceled that, and this is just its own thing. So yeah, it looks like it's an origin story. All right, and that's all the Disney news. Let's go ahead and pull up the chat one last time. All right, SG. Diego Luna plays Cassidy Andor. Oh, Diego Luna. Yeah, that's his name. Thanks for that, SG. Mikkelsen reprises his role as Thrawn in live action in episode 6 of Ahsoka, where the character is stranded in a distant galaxy after the Empire collapses. Yeah, like, I also watched Star Wars Rebels, and like that same actor plays Thrawn in that, and he did a good job. Like Thrawn was depicted pretty accurately in the Star Wars Rebels show, but the way they made him in Ahsoka, it was just like the writing was just so bad. Like Thrawn was just one of those characters that no matter what happened, he would be like, "Oh, that was all part of my master plan." And I hate characters like that, where like even when they lose, they claim that it was all part of your plan. Like Thrawn, like I said, I'm gonna make a Star Wars video soon. I'll make a Star Wars video one day, and I'll talk about my history of Star Wars because I have a lot to say. But yeah, Ahsoka was just a big disappointment to me. Anyways, it's that Disney portion went on way longer than I expected. I expected tonight to be a short episode, and we're coming in at 90 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and call it quits here.
Introducing the Late Night Show with your host, Cuddy Bino. Live streamed every Sunday night at midnight. Search Cuddy Bino on YouTube to catch the first episode.